It's 19 hours GMT. Good evening and welcome to News 360 from the News App here in Accra. I am Isa Moni.
And I'm Solis Rose Quarter. Now a look at the headlines for this evening.
By Deluxipate, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray.
This evening, Northern Regional Chairman of the Ghana Football Association resigns amid corruption allegations.
Scores of traders in Kumasi demonstrate against Metropolitan Assembly over street hawking.
Coming up on Mission tonight, more girls fall out of school in Nadoli Kaleo owing to teenage pregnancy.
And on the international front, controversial parliamentarian in Uganda shot dead.
These are more stories coming up, including entertainment as well as some sports news. Do stay. Don't forget that we are live on DSTV channel 279. Let's start off the bulletin with the story where the Northern Regional Football Association Chairman Abdullahi Al-Hassan has announced his resignation from the Football Association. The announcement was made at Tamale during a press conference today, Saturday, June 9, 2018. Abdullahi Al-Hassan, popularly known as Abu Imoro, was captured in the number 12 expose by ace journalist Anas Arumeyao Anas, where some officials of the Ghana Football Association were captured taking money from investors and individuals to tamper with football matches. Unlike others captured bribing to get matches fixed, Al-Hassan was seen negotiating his share of a 20% of the supposed estimated amount to be invested into the National League. After a self-introspection, the former chairman opted out. Let's listen to him.
I have decided to resign as the chairman of the Northern Regional Football Association and an executive committee member of the Ghana Football Association. My decision is as a result of deliberations I have had with my family and my associates. I wish to state my interest was to develop Ghana football, which led me to take the supposed investors to the president of the Ghana Football Association. I hereby render my unqualified apology to my family, friends, and the people I was selected or elected to serve in the country at large. I also sincerely apologize to Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi and all his sympathizers for being the person who led the supposed investors to him. I hope that Ghana football will get back on its feet from this controversy. Thank you.
And the head of the Department of Political Science at the University of Ghana, Dr. Bosman Asari, says President Akufo-Addo should not be a person of interest in the Ghana Football Association bribery scandal. President Akufo-Addo's name came up in the video premiered on Wednesday, raising concerns over whether the president should be investigated as well. But Dr. Bosman says the use of the president's name in the video will have to be proven beyond all reasonable doubt that he was involved in any way.
President Akufo-Addo, who was privileged to watch the bribery allegation scandal 2 weeks ago, took immediate steps to report the matter to the police for investigation. That was the first time Ghanaians learned that the head of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nyantakyi, was allegedly involved in influence peddling using the name of the president. Kwesi Nyantakyi's use of the president's name has caused opposition parties, particularly the NDC, to demand answers from the presidency. However, the head of the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, Legon, Dr. Bosman Asari, thinks the president should not be a person of interest.
The kind of system we are practicing in Ghana, I don't know how the president will be investigated in a matter like this. I think somebody mentioned the name of the president. So the question is, the person who has mentioned the name of the president ought to be investigated, and the person should be able to give us some information as to why the president's name was mentioned in a particular instance.
Dr. Bosman says the image of the country has sunk low by attempting to rope in the presidency.
As a country, once these things come up, it's a clear indication that we need to do some serious introspection. Very, very important. What are we learning from it? Are we going to ensure that these things do not happen in the future?
Both the president and the vice president who were mentioned in the video have denied knowledge of the bribery allegation.
Now, still on matters arising following the number 12 expose, a former editor of Kotoko Express, Jerome Ochre, is calling for the resignation of members of the executive committee of the Ghana Football Association who were cited in the ANAS expose. Head of Sports and Media General Michael Otieje said the expose is a true reflection of what has been happening at the GFA all this while. They spoke on TV3's New Day.
If I'm a FIFA referee, and I don't have any regard for the FIFA badge, I don't have any business being in the system. We should be able to also talk about the fact that people entrusted with certain things must come with a certain integrity, so that even if temptation comes, you'll be able to resist it.
Not to hold brief for them, but alongside the integrity, what about remuneration? People have had cause to complain about that.
You see,
do you think that is...
I know those are issues we have to look at. But then if I put it against the female executive member who took 300 cedis, I do not think that anything he takes at the FA is less than that money he took. We've seen the rot. The people left in there should be guided by the sort of reaction that we've seen to know that going forward we will not allow people to take our football and do what they want with it. The ethics committee of the FA should look at what FIFA has done and call their own people, because some of us made comments that, I mean, we didn't have any basis to make. We were more or less scolded. Here we've seen people taking money to influence matches. We should call them and do the appropriate thing.
There was a Michi controversy about sponsorship money in the past. There's been huge questions asked about the relationship with Puma and how much money we get. Rightly, the GFA decided that it was not going to tell us how much was involved in the xylophone deal, but there was major controversy about how much percentage was going to an agent. The money's agent take has been a major source of dispute. Specifically, journalists have accused Mr. Nyantichi in the last 13 years, especially since we went to the World Cup, on a regular basis, that every time there has been a sponsorship deal, whether he has been the one who's initiated it, there's been a specific allegation that he's formed companies on the side to siphon off the agency fee. And I saw the same man sit on video, discuss in very clear, audible terms. And discuss in audible terms how we, so we will set aside a company, my company, and we will put 20 to 25%.
In other words, saying that, confirming the allegations.
He saw that all of us here will be sorted. He was willing to take 25% of $50 million. What do I need again to know that somebody like this is not fit to lead?
And a private legal practitioner, Yao Pong, has criticized the Minister of Sports, Isaac Isiama, for misleading the public that government had dissolved the Ghana Football Association following ANAS's expose. Speaking on New Day, Mr. Pong said, per the laws of the land, government cannot unilaterally dissolve the Ghana Football Association until a determination is made by a court of law.
It's a bit shameful or disheartening that the Minister for Sports, who appear to be defiant, defiant of an executive decision. Until now, he has not even found it necessary to apologize. He erred. If it was due to inadvertence or he didn't know at the time, which I'll be surprised, he should just come out to clarify that when I said the GFA has been dissolved with all certainty and all the consequences spelled out from him, I was not aware that the president has instructed the Minister for Information to put out the president, because the minister is an agent.
He actually issued that. I think he granted those interviews from the presidency at the time. He was there with him, so there's no way he would know.
The minister is an agent of the president. Yeah. Of course, the acts of an agent, we always know, it can be imputed to principal. But when the principal gives an instruction that is inconsistent with yours, that will prevail. And I think that is what has caused the confusion. Even on BBC, they said that the GFA has been dissolved.
Now, away from issues regarding the number 12 expose, scores of traders at the Racecourse Market in Kumasi besieged the offices of the Metropolitan Assembly to register their displeasure at what they claim is the KMA's failure to rid the streets of hawkers. The traders have vowed to return to the streets in 2 weeks if the Assembly does not fully carry through its exercise to relocate all the traders to the main market. This is a report by Benjamin Adu. The agitated traders were evicted from the streets of Kumasi 2 months ago as part of a drive by the KMA to decongest the city. The Assembly relocated the traders to the Racecourse Market, but some of their colleagues have remained on the street to ply their trade, a situation that has compelled others to abandon their shops and return to sell on the streets. The aggrieved traders have petitioned the KMA to ensure all the traders are off the streets to afford them a common opportunity to attract customers. They also called on the Assembly to help resolve a leadership crisis at the Racecourse Market.
The officials of KMA always pretend they are sacking them from the street, but all they do is collect money from them and leave them alone. We are pleading for this to stop because an active market means more business for us all.
Metropolitan Chief Executive Osei Asibe Inchi assured the traders of the Assembly's determination to evict traders from the streets.
We've assured them of the needed support. From Monday going, we will make sure we have the adequate number of police to police them to make sure they do their work and do it very well. When we were doing the relocation exercise, a lot of people went there and took the shirts. So per our bylaw, once we've given the place to them and it has taken them more than 6 months to occupy the place, we have the right to take it back. I've made a firm promise and I've announced to the whole public that anybody who wants to sell, who do not have a place to sell, should move straight into Racecourse. And when he gets there, he has to see the leadership, and the leadership will provide a place for the person to sell.
And from the market, let's jump into agriculture. And efforts at improving agriculture production may not achieve the desired results if steps are not taken to address post-harvest losses. Lack of access to ready market and unavailability of processing facilities frustrates farming efforts. Perishable farm produce are sold cheaply at farm gates as tons continue to rot in farms across the country.
Perishable farm produce like watermelon, mangoes and tomatoes record huge post-harvest losses over the years. This year has been no different. There is glut of tomatoes in Akomadan and environs as farmers lament of lost investments to post-harvest losses. Watermelon farmers in the Bunahaf region continue to count their losses as their harvest rot on farms even though it's sold cheaply. The situation is no different in the Greater Accra region. Communities like Dawa, Koleador and Sege along the Adan Road are noted for watermelon cultivation. Heaps of watermelon are spotted on the shoulders of the road as farmers seek buyers. Motorists who ply that stretch buy these watermelons at very cheap prices. Farmers are exposed to post-harvest losses running into millions of cedis. This forces them to sell at very cheap prices. A truckload of the fruit is sold at 500 cedis. Even this is still difficult to sell. For the retail traders here, it is difficult making sales even at the low price. With as low as 2 cedis, you can get yourself one of these big melons. Interestingly, these women have orthodox ways of determining the shelf life of the fruits.
Bueno, ebe 3 days, 4 days. And say.
And you say,
Kunkunu, anyi, enche.
Into we be bear saying,
ebe 3 days be, say a wuton.
By this, they are able to know how long it will last to make informed sales. It is a similar situation along the Dodowa Road where mangoes are in abundance. With very little, a basket of mangoes can be bought here. Back in the capital, these fruits are processed into fruit juices by local processors and sold at Vantage Point. Though pineapples, mangoes and oranges are made in large quantities, watermelon and pawpaw are only a small fraction added to cocktails. Principal research scientist and crop post-harvest law specialist at the CSIR Food Research Institute explains why.
It has a lot of the water part. And then in standing on its own, you have to then see how best you can formulate it and come out with a standalone drink. That can be done.
According to Dr. Charles Toto, fruits like pineapple, mangoes and pawpaw can be preserved by drying, but watermelon cannot.
Sometimes you can add a sodium metabolite, bisulfite or bicarbonates. But you know, these days people are shying away from chemicals. We are not encouraging the addition of chemicals into most of our fruit juice and our fruit drinks, simply because of the idea that we need more organic juices and we need more natural fruit drinks. In addition to saving watermelon, is to do more processing where we will add it to other fruits.
The government's One District, One Factory, he said, could be an avenue to address the problem. Managing post-harvest losses, according to experts, is the only way to enhance agricultural productivity.
About 40% of the food being produced in Ghana is lost. But that has to do with working on one particular issue that we call post-harvest losses, to make sure the production is utilized and having access to market.
Despite the economy growing by 8.5% in 2017, largely boosted by oil and gas, one of the critical sectors, manufacturing, sadly continues its poor showing. Provisional 2017 GDP figures released by the Ghana Statistical Service shows that the manufacturing subsector grew by 3.7% in the year under review. Government's One District, One Factory will be a recipe to managing post-harvest losses and ensure food security, as well as boost productivity in the agricultural sector. Catherine Frimpoma, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, still on agriculture, the lack of storage facilities is preventing women farmers in Adamupe community in the East Gonja municipality from increasing the acreage they cultivate. The women farmers say they are also forced to sell their produce at cheaper prices. A report by Zubaida Ismail.
I sell my farm produce at cheaper prices, and I am sometimes unable to service loans that I take to invest during farming season. This is the common storyline women farmers like Tabaliba Mankina narrate in the Adamupe community in the northern region. Tabaliba owns a 10-acre land where she grows maize, cowpea, cassava and pepper. She harvests between 35 and 45 bags of the 4 crops from each farming season. This single room serves as a barn and a bedroom for her, her husband and 3 other children. The veranda offers additional space when harvest is high. To get a good sleep without inhaling the scent of fresh pepper, she is forced to sell at cheaper prices. Ideally, a bag of maize should cost 70 Ghana cedis, but the highest she has sold a bag of maize is 40 Ghana cedis. Her story is no different from other women. In the abundance of land, women are forced to cultivate only what they can store in their rooms. Share Not Ghana, a non-governmental organization, has begun advocacy series in the East Gonja municipality to empower the women. The advocacy program called Voice for Change is funded by SNV. The director at Share Not Ghana, Idi Zakaria, says demanding accountability should not be left to a few. He believes when women are empowered, they will improve their lives.
In other news tonight, pupils of Guabuliga schools in the West Mamprusi district of the Northern region lie flat on their stomach to write in school. Following TV3's report on this situation, Bravo Aurora, an NGO, has donated dual desks to the schools, hoping this will help in raising standards of education in the district. Here is Ivati Bokai's report.
TV3 first visited the school in March 2017. The school then lacked furniture. Only a privileged few brought furniture from home. Trying to secure a brighter future, more than half of the 794 pupils of the school struggled to learn while sitting or lying on the floor. 6 lessons daily. Pupils of classes 1 to 5 pressed hard on their chest and tummies to write. Hamza and his colleagues were in primary 5 when the news team visited the school. The only desk in the classroom was this one, customized to these lucky 3. All that while in school, they have not had access to furniture. Adams managed to lie on a wooden plank to avoid dark, hardened knees and arms. Pupils of primary 4 also never sat on furniture since they enrolled into the school. There were many complaints about pains in the chest. Brave Aurora, a community-based development NGO, has donated 250 dual desks and books to support the school.
How would you lie on the floor on your stomach to be able to write legibly? Talking about lying on your stomach, where is the learning material for you to even to write on? It is just not fair, because the educational system has just cut it away or cut off the rural areas of the republic, which is sad. Having said that, though, it is not good for us just to eat alone. It is good for us to extend to other places, and as long as we get the resources, you know, we'll be able to do this anywhere.
Brave Aurora really came in at the right time. I think I have a thumb up for TV3. You have brought us goodies.
The Brave Aurora have done a lot that we could not even ask this again from them.
Field officials of Brave Aurora hoped the teachers and students would increase performance.
I want to see 2018-2019 academic year yielding as at least 30% BEC performance, because last year we recorded 8% with the inception of these textbooks and other things.
Brave Aurora and SODEC are asking other NGOs working in the region to focus on helping develop the human resource capacities.
This is News 360. We're also live on channel 279 on DSTV. We'll return shortly with Mission.
Welcome back to News 360. It's now time for Mission, supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, the UK Aid and the European Union. Let's start off with this story. He was born with a disability. Now, though Hila Bayon opted for formal education, he dropped out after basic level due to financial challenges. He would have ended up on the streets, but the Wa East District Assembly is supporting him and many others to live decent lives. This is a report by Bright Nana Amfo.
Oh, there are many. I don't call, but all my brothers, we are 4.
Borax, that is his nickname. He learned to walk the hard way. Initially, he had nothing to aid him. Then the crutches came in. He was born into a huge family. With his disability, he started school. After the basic education certificate examination, he dropped out. The results were not too good, even after a second attempt. This was in 2004, the same year the Wa East District Assembly was created. He started work as a barber. His father had taken him through barbering.
It's only blade I used to start my barbering, and then I used comb to add it, And then I don't know the time that they give our district. And when the district started, and I used machine again.
The support of the assembly started from here. He was given a barber's machine and other equipment. In fact, he was also supported to study IT, soft and hardware, and mobile phone repairs.
It sent me to Tumu, Tamale, Sinyane, and then to know, and then they trained me. They gave me the money to Atwa, and then I should do the training for the work. Mobile phone hardware and then software too.
And you did that training for 1 year?
Yes.
Since you came back, what have you been doing with the skills and the knowledge that you got?
I'm using the skill, and they gave me some tools to be using. And the case was too small. And that someone helped me to get something, and then I'll build the place to be big so that the tools can also be there.
He's now training others, both able and disabled, in computer and mobile phone repairs and barbering. His love for barbering saw him open a shop. He then combined all mobile phone and computer repairs. But his love for barbering is greater. He has trained all his brothers, 9 of them, in barbering.
All my brothers, we have 4.
4 of them?
4 of them, and I trained more than that.
More than 4 people.
So, but all my mother, you see their children, all of them, they are barbers.
He invited one of his apprentices to do the shaping up for me. A humble apprentice praises his master.
Boras is a very decent a person who they have trained for a long time. Then we started the barbering since long time. Since I was just young ladies, then he start. Maybe since it's God gift. So everybody, like me plus like Boras barber somebody head and then I barber. I never see difference. Difference there.
Meaning that he's good?
He's good in barbering. I'm used to barber, but my barbering and Boras barbering cannot be the same.
The assembly says funds released to these persons are monitored.
There is no day you not get a call from a disabled person asking for the applications, what happened so far, they've been waiting. So, well, we assure them. Well, you know, the fund comes with the Assembly Common Fund. And when the Assembly Common Fund is not released, Disability Common Fund is not released. So we keep on waiting. For instance, last year we could not get any release, 2017, but likely 2018, we had about 4 releases that came together. And that is exactly what we are doing currently, disbursing to those who applied.
The Wa East District Assembly is lending support to persons with disabilities. A major challenge of disabled persons is the delay in the release of funds from central government. It is a real hectic period for them. The Assembly says it is committed to caring for the disabled to ensure social inclusion. 44 have so far been supported.
We have to coexist. Living with the disabled is something very important. We cannot say because they are handicapped in a way, we should separate them. So that is why we are doing all we can at the Assembly to make them comfortable in life so that we all live together and see how together we can all contribute to the development of the district.
My haircut is complete now. So after some 30 minutes, I'm looking clean shaven and good. And this is from Borax Enterprise. Now he's one of the persons here with disability who through the District Assembly has been able to set up this barbering shop. Now it used to be a wooden structure and the Assembly supported Helia to put up this. This will improve what he does. And this will allow him to be able to cater for himself and his family. Persons with disability can live on their own and live a decent life. All they need is the support. And the Wa East District Assembly is doing exactly just that, supporting them to live decent lives. Bright Nanamfo, TV3, Funsi.
Meanwhile, the Bongo district has presented over 54,000 Ghana cedis to 55 persons with disability. Now, this is the first batch of the 3% District Assembly Common Fund disbursement. The Assembly says it is committed to enhancing social inclusion. Recipients are into dressmaking and other vocations.
The district has records of several people with disability. Some have been registered, but a larger number is outside formal recognition. Some people with disability are into profitable ventures, but others are not. Those into profitable ventures struggle to expand their businesses due to funding. People with disability who are in school also struggle to pay fees, while those undergoing apprenticeship sometimes drop out due to inadequate funding. The District Assembly's 3% Common Fund for PWDs is to cushion them in their various ventures. Over 54,000 cedis was disbursed to these persons. The amount will cater for educational support, income-generating activities, apprenticeship, organizational development, advocacy, and medical assistance.
Since then, I have tasked the Fund Management Committee to begin vetting and approving applications to members of this fund. The Fund Management Committee had to take time to be able to vet the numerous applications that we received. The committee has been working hard to ensure that the rightful people are selected to benefit from the fund. And I'm glad today we have gathered all of you here to begin the processes of disbursing the fund to you.
In all, about 55 persons with disability benefited from the support. About 8,700 cedis went to PWDs in the education sector. Beneficiaries were advised to use the monies for intended purposes. The chairman of the Ghana Federation of the Disabled, Clement Mba, was grateful for the gesture.
I'm saying on behalf of our disabled group to thank him so much for the effort that he has been making, but today he has made it possible.
Beneficiaries promised to use the monies for its intended purpose and praised the Assembly for coming to their aid.
When I'm moving and I see our colleagues seated and begging, I'm not happy. Now, with this support, most of us will move out of the street because of the way other people normally shun us. Now, everybody can work. We have no reason to complain that we have no money to work, and that's why we beg. I thank the DC and the government.
Bright Nanamfo, TV3.
Well, that's it for Mission for tonight, supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, the UK Aid and the European Union. Isai standing by with more news updates.
In more news tonight, available data at the Aguna West Municipal Assembly shows that arrears from uncollected bills on property rates for 2018 amount to 1,562,000 Ghana cedis. A development economist at the Assembly, Dr. Eric Akobeng, believes the amount can help the Assembly carry out many development projects without relying on its common fund. This was made known at a stakeholders workshop organized by the Aguna West Municipal Assembly in the Central Region. Here's Lucy Ayamile's report.
The workshop was organized to discuss innovative ways of mobilizing revenue to finance the Assembly's development projects envisaged in the medium-term development plan for 2018 to 2021. This follows a new directive from the Common Fund Administrator directing all metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to use 80% of funds from their common funds for government programs, while the remaining 20% is to be used to fund the Assembly's programs. The 80% of the Common Fund should be used to fund the following programs: 40% for school feeding program, 20% for planting for food and jobs, and 20% for the Nation Builders Corps. Speaking on the topic, Ghana Beyond Aid and Revenue Mobilization, a development economist at the Agona West Municipal Assembly, Dr. Erica Kobeng, argued that aid has not helped Ghana because of the dependency syndrome. He praised government for the self-sufficient policy direction, but warned that debt servicing is taking a large part of Ghana's domestic revenue, hence making the country's economy vulnerable to shocks. According to him, in 2017, interest payments on public debt of the country was equal to 41.8% of total tax revenue. He urged governments to limit borrowing to high-priority development projects that have growth potential. Dr. Erica Kobeng added that continuous increase in the debt stock may threaten the president's agenda to grow the economy beyond aid. However, the Agona West Municipal Assembly's efforts to collect property rates have been falling short of what is expected.
The best source of fund for the assembly is the internally generated fund. That one, assemblies have their own control. They can come out and use this to actually finance their development plans. Yeah, because of the delays and problems that we are having with the district assembly common fund. And now the president has an agenda of job creation, and about 80% of the common fund is actually used to achieve this objective.
The Agona West Municipal Chief Executive, Justina Marigold Assan, launched her agenda for developing the municipality. She identified measures such as setting comprehensive revenue data collection, effective revenue administration, and weekend collection, among others, to help the Assembly boost its revenue.
President Akufo-Addo has launched the 2018 Ghana Census of Agriculture, which will inform the formulation of strategies and policies, as well as monitoring and evaluation of such policies in the agricultural sector. Speaking at the Sefirioso, at part of his tour of the Western region, the president noted that since the last census of agriculture conducted some 33 years ago, there have been dramatic changes in the structure and content of Ghanaian agriculture, and policy in this period has been based largely on guesswork.
The Census of Agriculture is being conducted by the Ghana Statistical Service in collaboration with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, with technical support from the UN Food and Agriculture Organization (FAO). The census will collect, process and disseminate information on the nature and structure of agriculture, availability of agriculture and social services in agricultural communities. It will also identify potential and constraints for development in agricultural communities. Field work for the census started April 30 and is expected to be completed on July 31. Field personnel will identify for enumeration persons engaged in production of all types of food crop, all types of tree planting activities, all types of agriculture, as well as those who do fishing in both inland and offshore waters. Launching the Ghana Census Agriculture at Sefirioso in the Western region, President Akufo-Addo said it is regrettable that the last census of agriculture was 33 years ago, and this has affected the agriculture sector as policies have been based on guesswork.
It is my fervent wish and hope that this 2018 Ghana Census of Agriculture will be the beginning of a new cycle of 10-year censuses as we used to have. Data from the census will also help in monitoring the country's progress under the Food and Agriculture Sector Development Policy of Ghana.
Nana Addo is hopeful the census will enable government to deal with the challenges of unavailability of certified seeds, insufficient application of fertilizer, little to no access to extension offices, and limited use of ICT.
This census must become a regular feature of our national life. Agriculture remains the fuel that powers all our activity in Ghana. We ignore it at our risk. My government will certainly not ignore it. We need to raise agriculture to a higher plane to be able to improve on the quality of life for our people.
And the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, has continued his nationwide Ramadan tour in the Upper West region. The purpose of the tour is to observe prayers with the Muslim communities for unity and prosperity of Ghana.
The Vice President, upon arrival in the Upper West Regional Capital with some government officials, paid a courtesy call on the Paramount Chief of Wala Traditional Area, Wana Fuseni Seidu Pelpu, and his people. He later joined in the Juma prayers at the Central Mosque in Wa, which was observed at 1 p.m. Addressing the congregation, he reiterated that the NPP government is delivering on its mandate, mentioning the implementation of the free senior high school policy, planting for food and jobs, restoration of nursing and teacher training allowances, and some other projects. The Vice President proceeded to Jirapa and continued to Hain, where he observed prayers with some Muslims in the community.
This year, we have launched what we call the Nation Builders Corps. This is to hire 100,000 graduates, HND, diploma, degree holders. The minimum any constituency will get will be 350 people who will be recruited from that constituency. And so you are in good shape by the grace of God. For those who don't have degrees, the youth employment is also going to hire 80,000 people this year.
The Vice President rounded up his tour at Tumu and took the opportunity to pay a courtesy call on the Chief of Tumu, Richard Babini Canton, who is also a member of the Council of State. The Upper West region becomes the 8th region the Vice President has visited so far.
And now to some environmental issues. Plastics as pollutants have become a great source of concern across the globe. Environmentally friendly methods of disposal have been recommended, and that is just what employees of Voltic Ghana have initiated with the Voltic Beats Plastic Pollution Sensitization Program. The exercise was part of the events by the organization to mark World Environment Day. The event that took place at the Okvankor roundabout is a part of a wider project to sensitize communities to introduce alternative uses of plastic and the need to prevent plastic pollution. Some volunteers of Voltic Mineral Water educated the public on innovative ways of disposing of plastic bottles and how they could be used for fencing, building a Christmas tree, flower pots and chairs. The Public Affairs and Communications Manager of Voltic, Joyce Ahiadome, said a change in mindset about waste is the way to beating plastic pollution.
And we believe that plastic waste management is a shared responsibility. It is not just for government, for the industry producing plastics, or the community, but if every one of us come together to manage and change our mindsets, then we can properly beat the pollution. The reason why we are doing this is to conscientize ourselves that plastic is not waste, but plastic is also a resource if we segregate them at source.
The exercise, which is the first of its kind in Accra, saw employees of Voltic returning over 20,000 used bottles.
Watching News 360, and when we return shortly, we'll feature Nana Kojo-Afre with the latest sports news.
Good evening and welcome back to News 360 here on TV3. My name is Nana Kojo-Afre with the sports update. Let's begin now where the screening of number 12, ANASA's latest investigative piece on Ghana football, has seen some level of public outrage, disappointment and the resignation of the head of Ghana's Football Association, Kwesi Nyantakyi. In a latest development, Northern Regional FA Chairman Abdullahi Al-Hassan, who was caught in the video with Mr. Nyantakyi, has also left his position as the Northern Regional Football Association Chairman. In a statement released this morning, Al-Hassan offered apologies to the football fraternity, his family and to the government for his action in the video number 12. Also, the Referees Appointment Committee of the Ghana Football Association has been dissolved by the Executive Committee after many referees were also implicated in the video for taking bribes and changing the dynamics of games. All of these actions are bids to restructure our football and restore public confidence in the Football Association. Meanwhile, CEO of Aduanas Football Club, Albert Kome, has expressed disappointment in Ghanaians for labeling everyone at the GFA as corrupt based on mistakes committed by other members of the association. He added that his interest in football has depreciated and might consider a decision to leave the game.
Happy and I feel sad for Ghana football because it looks as if people perceive all of us to be corrupt. And for that matter, they are just reacting on something somebody has done one side. The question I kept asking myself is, if he himself had been tried that way, will he be able to survive it? The kind of comments people are making, especially the government, made me sad. I'm very undecided now. I don't know. At the point I don't want to be doing in football. I just want to get myself out of it because some of us were not gotten. You know that it didn't try us. When you look at the storylines and you see the kind of calls I had, the gentleman who came and wanted to bribe because he's brought a young guy to the team, and I saw all those things as an attempt, people, because one, if you are principled on certain things, you are principled on certain.
To some more stories now, and football in Ghana seem to have come to a halt as the Ghana Football Association has decided to call off all games in the country due to an NAS's expose. This has raised a huge concern among club administrators. Albert Kome says the development has left their CAF Confederations Cup tie against AS Vita Club of Congo hanging in the balance.
Investment Nana has made. As we speak now, on the 18th of July, we're supposed to play Vital here. Yesterday when I was meeting, CAF was sending action about things that it's access to do. And we are on it concerning the infrastructure. Now, looking at what is happening, in fact, the question I asked myself, are we going to play or are we not going to play? So all the, for instance, the investment that we've done, even the cars that have to come to from CAF has not touched down. To be very honest with you, I knew the programs were to continue to make sure at least the teams, owners that have invested, the coaches, the players, or let me put it in short, the actors themselves may know that at least they can plan and they can know that this is what we are doing.
Just a quick update on the French Open finals, and the women's singles. Simona Halep has finally won her first Grand Slam title, beating Sloane Stephens 2-1. That's all the sports here on News 360. My name is Anako Jaffrey. Always a pleasure serving you. Good evening.
At international news tonight, a controversial parliamentarian in Uganda has been shot dead. Ibrahim Abiriga and his personal bodyguard were gunned down close to Uganda's capital, Kampala.
Famed for donning yellow attire to show his undying allegiance to Uganda's ruling party, the National Resistance Movement, Abiriga represented Arua Municipality, a city in the northwest. He was one of the legislators who vehemently supported a controversial constitutional amendment last year, which removed the presidential age limit. Opponents of the amendment said it was meant to ensure President Yoweri Museveni, in power since 1986, rules for life. Before becoming a member of parliament, Abiriga was a rebel leader fighting in Uganda's northwest. He sought amnesty and was pardoned by the government of Yoweri Museveni. Last year, he was pictured easing himself in the open in Kampala. He was charged in a city court and fined. Police confirmed his death. His killers were reportedly riding on a motorcycle. In entertainment tonight, he was admitted to read a Bachelor of Arts in Classics and Philosophy at the University of Cape Coast, but dropped it to major in dance, a diversion which was ridiculed. Now a teaching assistant at the University of Cape Coast, Jason Otu continues to pursue his interest, which is taking him around the world promoting African dance. This is a report by Spencer Kwabena Boateng Mensah. Call it dondology, assology, or any other name. But a BA in music and dance has enormous entertainment, therapeutic, inspirational, and educational values. Graduates of this degree program leave school with an in-depth knowledge of African and Ghanaian culture, and Jason Otu is no exception. Jason, who started choreographic dance at a tender age, was admitted into the Faculty of Arts in 2012, where he remained until he reapplied for dance, a program most students shun for various reasons.
These three people have played a key role in where I am today. So, Delali, Dr. Ajao, and Prof. Dora. I came to the department in level 200. It was Prof. Dora's idea that I don't start all over again. She just admitted me into level 200 and asked that I change any of the courses. I should substitute a course for dance. So I quickly substituted class and philosophy for dance.
This decision did not go down well with most people, as Jason became a laughingstock. But family encouragement and recommendations from lecturers kept him going.
Let me not just say in our part of the world, but even in the university, you still have people who feel like dance is not a viable subject to study. It was more of, philosophy class now, choir dance. No one understood. Even I didn't understand it fully myself.
How easy is studying dance as a degree program?
So the 4-year Bachelor of Arts program in music and dance consists of courses like kinesiology, cultural dance, choreography, lapa notations, which all demand rigorous readings and practicals. But it will surprise you that many here, even in the University of Cape Coast, believe the program is merely practical work. But Jason tells me there's more to the dondong.
Jason has his own dance company and also plans to further his education in dance to the doctorate level and even beyond. Dance has led Jason to tour many countries, including the United States of America.
I had mentors like Dr. Eric and Deborah Autry, who is also in the department, and they helped me to write my letter of change of course and followed till I got accepted into the department. And then I got into the department and there was a production. It was Nkrumah's Vision for One Africa, the reality. And I was the main character. And I proved myself in the department.
Jason urged institutions offering African studies and talent-based courses in Ghana to become more visible and urged students to ignore the stereotypes about the creative arts and follow their passions like he did. Well, that's it for News 360 tonight. My name is Solace Rose-Cote.
And my name is Issa Mono. Check out for more updates on 3news.com. Good night.